Kristen, I want to go first to you. The Secretary of Defense is saying that we're not out of diplomatic solutions, but it really seems to contradict what the president tweeted earlier today. What happens now?
Well, look, bottom line, Casey, the president's strategy has always been to talk tough when it comes to North Korea. We saw that, remember, when he was on his working vacation in Bedminster, when the president really ramped up his rhetoric and threatened actions like the world has never seen in North Korea. The reality is, behind the scenes, if you talk to U.S. officials, they still want to see a diplomatic resolution to North Korea's nuclear provocations. President Trump spoke with the Prime Minister of Japan in recent days, other regional partners, really trying to get them to turn up the heat on North Korea. China is a key focus. They see China as the link to getting North Korea to stop its nuclear provocations. Specifically, they want China to essentially choke it out economically, to stop doing business with North Korea. They have made some gains, but clearly it's not enough. Nikki Haley was also quite clear she's going to be working with her partners and allies to try to turn the heat up on North Korea. But Casey, as we have been reporting for so many weeks and months now, the administration is leaving all of its options on the table. And so nothing has changed. But again, they want to see this resolved diplomatically because there are so many lives at stake if there were to be some type of military action in the region. Casey.
Courtney, I want to ask you about the Secretary of Defense's response here. It seems like he's stepping out a little bit in, I don't know if it's quite opposition to President Trump, but it's certainly a remarkable level of pushback as a cabinet official.
Yeah, we've heard all along that the diplomatic response is what needs to happen here. That there is, while there is obviously a very real military potential for what's going on with North Korea, the tension has been high since April, ever since there was some real concern that they might test another nuclear weapon back during one of their big, annual celebrations, one of their big national days. But throughout that entire time, after the ICBM launches earlier this summer, after this most recent test on Monday where they flew over Japan, we continue to hear from the U.S. military and from the leadership that diplomacy is still the way forward in this case.
Remind us, and we obviously been very rightly focused on the hurricane that's going on here at home, but what is the military doing today about the North Korea threat? I mean, what is the U.S. response here?
There hasn't been any movement of additional assets to the area, anything like that. I think we will still see some kind of a show of force, as we always do after any kind of a North Korean provocation. In recent times, we've seen them fly some B-1 bombers over the Korean Peninsula. There have been some joint U.S., Korean, and Japanese air exercises. They even fired off some ATACMS, which are missiles that they fired right across the border in South Korea, not far from North Korea. So I think we will see something like that coming probably in the next day or two, or sometime this week. The U.S. military also tested their missile defense system earlier today off the coast of Hawaii. It was a long-planned test, but it was successful, where they tested their ability to intercept and take down a medium-range ballistic missile. What we saw on Monday from North Korea that flew over Japan was an intermediate range, which is slightly longer. But again, this is the U.S. military showing that they have this missile defense capability that they can defend against North Korea. Exactly.
For sure.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.